This video is going to help you with adding and subtracting rational expressions. And this is really important to figure out before you get to solving equations. So, to add or subtract rational expressions, first, I'm going to write some steps over here. First, we need to find a lowest common denominator. So if I look at this first example, I see that the denominators are different. I'm going to factor this because the factoring will help me see if anything between my denominators is common. So if I factor this, I can rewrite it as x plus 2 times x plus 1. So now I see that I have x plus 2 in common. So that's definitely going to be part of my LCD. But then I also have x plus 1 as a factor that needs to be represented in my lowest common denominator. So this is what I'm going to choose. My left fraction already has my lowest common denominator, but the one on the right does not have this x plus 1. So I'm going to multiply both the numerator and denominator by x plus 1. So just rewriting it, I get the first fraction just stays the same, plus, and then I have 2x times x plus 1. So I can think about distributing that. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 1 is 2x over x plus 2 times x plus 1. So once I've figured out that LCD and I've made each denominator the same, then I just add or subtract across the top. So looking at my common terms, I see I have an x, or my like terms, I guess. I've got an x plus 2x, so that's going to make 3x. Minus 1 and 2x squared are not like terms, so I can just copy those down. And then we just copy down our common denominator. So this is your final answer. And then we just use the exact same strategy when we subtract rational expressions. So first we want to check the lowest common denominator. So I see I have an x minus 3 and an x plus 3. So I'm going to choose both of those terms to make my common denominator, because those are each factors. And so even though there's both an x and a 3 in both of them, it's the factor x minus 3 and the factor x plus 3. So those are slightly different, and so we need to represent each. So I see in my right fraction I don't have the x minus 3, so I'm going to multiply by x minus 3 in both the numerator and denominator. And in the left fraction I'm missing that x plus 3, so I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by x plus 3. And then I can simplify. So again, I'm distributing here, so 2 times x gives me 2x, and 2 times 3 is 6, all over this common denominator, minus, and then distribute this 4, so 4x minus 12, all over x plus 3, x minus 3. All right, now that my denominators are the same, I can add or subtract across the top and combine my like terms. So I see I have a 2x minus 4x. Got to be really careful with this minus here. So 2x minus 4x is going to be negative 2x. And then I have a positive 6 minus a negative 12. So 6 minus negative 12, those two negatives become a positive. So I get plus 18 all over my common denominator, and I'm good to go. Yay! And another thing we talked about were restrictions, and so we just want to be conscious of the fact that there are some values that for x that cannot be plugged into these because it would make the denominator 0. So if we look at it, x plus 2, if we put in a negative 2, it would make 0, and x plus 1, if we put a negative 1, it would make 0. So those are restrictions on the first one, and on the second one, we cannot plug in a negative 3 or a positive 3 because either of those would make the denominator equal 0. Great job!